Hello everybody, I'm Spider Jones and welcome again to Legends and Heroes. In today's show, we're coming from the beautiful Regent Theater right here in downtown Oshawa. Why? Because my special guest, Scott Templeton, is with us, the go-to guy with Black Rose Entertainment. And Scott, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time, but you're a pretty busy man booking all these great tribute acts here at the Regent Theater. And folks, I mean, these acts, some of them are better than the original. But,
yeah, I would say that. A lot of them are better than the originals.
But you got to be very happy that the pandemic is sort of over, in the sense that you're back open, because you were closed for how long?
Oh, we were closed for just over 2 years. We were trying to do live stream shows, but unfortunately the live stream shows, it's not the same. It's just not the same as in-person concerts. The bottom line is we are very happy to be back on stage.
I think, and you got to thank these acts you bring in. We want to talk about them because I've seen some of them, and it just knocks you out, because we'll never get to see some of the great groups because of their age or they've disbanded, but the tributes to them have been fantastic. Doing it right here in downtown Oshawa brings a lot of people out, doesn't it? It's good for business all around.
Oh, it's great for all the businesses in the area. It's, I mean, you got your restaurants that fill up. You got other novelty stores people get to go into and pick up a lot of stuff. We got album stores like vinyls. People can go downtown and buy vinyls during our show. During the day, they can pick up the vinyls at these stores and everything else. There's quite a few of them down here.
And then they'll have dinner first, have one of these restaurants downtown to eat at. She's got some pretty good restaurants in downtown Oshawa, folks. And then come and catch an act.
Yep.
I want to talk about it because this is a great theater and it's been renovated. Do you know the history behind the Regent Theater here?
I just know it started like, I believe it's over 100 years old. So it started off as a movie theater.
Yeah.
A few times it's been converted, but when UIT from the university took over, this is actually a study hall for the university as well. So, you know, it's used for multi-purposes. And at UIT, the study hall comes in here. You know, we partner with UIT in a lot of things. So overall, the history is mostly, it's about 100 years. As you can tell by the great structure that we have on the ceilings. They started off as a movie theater, and I think they did some vaudeville acts and different things like that, but till I believe it was around 2003 or 2004, that's when they opened up back to the music. So
I recall being in the audience a few years back, right here on this stage. There was a night to celebrate Ronnie Hawkins.
Yeah, the Ronnie Hawkins show.
Front row with some of the legends, Robbie Lane, and so many of them sat front here, and they did a sort of a fireside chat with Ronnie Hawkins, and that sold out.
Yes.
That was fantastic. I loved it because we know Ronnie can sing and we know his songs, but when you hear, it's so inspiring and fascinating to hear about these people and how they evolved into what he became Canada's major rock and roll star.
Yeah, absolutely. And behind that story, the story behind that, I was actually working for another promoter at the time, and we decided to do that one. And after, I think I was with them till, well, that was 2013, and then 2015, we decided to go out on our own and do our own company, Black Rose Entertainment. We were actually called Black Rose Durham Entertainment, and then we changed it to Black Rose Entertainment because we weren't Durham anymore. We were moving across Ontario.
Yeah,
so,
you're doing these acts. You did one in Meaford not too long ago.
Actually, we just finished our second in Meaford, but our first in Meaford was Jersey Nights, which is a tribute to Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
And you had that here.
We had here Mother's Day right here on May 8th.
Folks, I got to tell you, that was something else. Because I know Paulie Saunders was involved in that. He's an actor, singer, and he's as good as anything you see on Broadway.
Yeah, his group is actually called Paulie Saunders and the History of Rock and Soul.
Yeah.
So,
And you had so many names before, the Goodfellas and
Yep, the
Paulie and the
Goodfellas.
Greaseballs
Oh, yeah.
years, but they do the whole circuit,
Yep.
colleges all over. So you're bringing a lot of them in. What are some of the other acts that?
Well, there's one of the ones that we just finished bringing in was the Fab Four. They're a Canadian band. They used to play at Class Act Dinner Theatre and a couple other theaters around the area. And what we have here, they are a tribute to the Beatles, but what they do is the touring years from 1963 to 1967, and then they top off the last part of their show with the rooftop performance of the Beatles' last concert. Amazing. We just had Simply Queen here last weekend.
I heard they put on.
They were amazing.
Freddie Mercury. I mean, who's gonna top that? But
yeah, but he comes pretty close. He's the band's right on, music wise, spot on. Like, so we had Simply Queen and followed Simply Queen up with Skimmermarink, which I believe you did the interview with Sharon and Randy.
Yes, I had a chance to interview Sharon and Randy. I mean, that's something else. And what is the capacity here?
The capacity is 609. 609 seats in this. It doesn't look like it, but there's 609 seats in this theater. Like I said, it's fun to pack. We go from everything. I mean,
now, how do you find out about these acts? Because you certainly don't want to bring in an act just because they're a tribute. They have to. No. They obviously have to be very good.
They have to be good. We have a history of a few of them that we continue to bring, like Brass Transit, which is a Chicago tribute, probably the best one out there. And then like tonight's show is ABBA Mania and Night Fever. That's ABBA and the Bee Gees tribute.
In the same night?
Same night. Same
band? The same band?
No, two different bands. First half is Bee Gees. They do the tribute there, and the second half is ABBA. It sells out every year. This used to be the pandemic moved them. They used to be our first show every year. We always started with a bang, and ABBA, Bee Gees, or Night Fever were the number one for us to start with a bang, and we did them in January, but the pandemic made us move everything, to tonight, May. That's like a 5-month move. But everybody was used to it coming in January, and it's still sold. So, it's great. I mean, we have shows coming up, CCR Bootleg. We have, right after CCR, we have, good question, it's in my head, but we have the CCR, we have, Bowie, the Bowie Lives, and right after that one, we have an ELO tribute called Strange Magic. And
how do you find out about these bands? Do they come to you, or
a lot of them have come to me. A lot of them we've built our name up enough now where there's a trust. There's a trust between most of these tribute bands. The agents that are out there, they have a trust for Black Rose Entertainment. Our goal was to try to eliminate that. I don't want to say greaseball type image of a promoter, but we were trying to be that promoter that treats every artist the same, whether it's Max Webster, or I should say even Ian Thomas, could be Paulie and the Goodfellas. They're artists, so we treat them all the same, all the way across. They get their dinner buyouts. They get dinner. We're just establishing ourselves with another restaurant to put food upstairs for them when they come in. So.
Take us through your experience as being a promoter. I mean, when did this happen? When did you become a promoter?
Well, let's see. Me, I was believe it or not, I was a network communications analyst for 34 years. I got bored with that job because it's the same thing over and over and over again. In about 2010, I started thinking, you know what, I'd like to put a festival together. I wasn't even going to go. I was just jumping right past the theater and going right to a festival. So we got going with a festival, and we were going to do it at Mossport. Because that was from the Canada Jam days, I started looking to see if I can get the same bands that were here for Canada Jam. And then that didn't ponder out, so we decided to just I decided at that point, you know what, I'm going to just start going into the theater. And I joined another company, and we put everything. It was a dinner theater, so I learned the ropes going through everything that they did, and you learn the good and you learn the bad.
What's some of the bad?
You don't want to. All the bad's gone. I get rid of all the bad. We're only good now. So
you learn from the bad, and
that's right, and you take it and reverse it. That's the best way to do it. But that's where we got. Truthfully, when we started our own company, my wife said to me, which is Christine, she said to me, you don't need anybody to do this because you can do this. You already know what to do. So she pushed me a little bit further, and away we went. And now we are where we are, and we're in a rebuild stage, obviously, because of the pandemic, but I think we're getting there really quick.
Let's talk about the audience. What demographics, and where do they come from?
Most of the demographics here, you're probably looking between the ages of 40 to 65, 70. They're the older generation, because it's a sit down. You like the sit down audience.
Absolutely.
I know I like to sit down. I'm only 63 and I like to sit. So we do. It starts out there, but most of the audience, I find, it does come from Durham, but for some reason the audience travels. You don't have audience travel from the west to the east, but you have them travel from east to west. So our market would probably start in Pickering, Scarborough, Pickering, and work its way all the way out to Port Hope, areas like that. I've just seen it year after year after year, the same thing. So that's where our target market stayed.
And how do you target them? Is there how do you get the word out there?
Well, you got your social media now.
Yeah, that's
a lot of social media. I mean, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We haven't gone TikTok route yet. I have to get my daughter to do that. I have to hire my daughter back into the marketing.
She does.
Yeah. Let somebody knows what to do it. That's all. That's always my. If they know how to do it better than I, they're going.
And the one thing that I really love about these theaters is the acoustics here. It's just
beautiful.
It's phenomenal.
Beautiful.
It sort of reminds me in a way of the Fox Theater, but it's a little smaller than the Fox Theater.
Yeah.
Of course, has all the they have the balconies. They don't have them here, but you get a great sound out of here, don't you?
Oh, it's beautiful in here. The sound. Actually, it's too bad they weren't here because the techs that work here are amazing. Other people say, can I bring my own sound guy? I tell them, you don't need your own sound guy. You use the sound guy that's used to the theater, because your acoustics.
So you have somebody right here that.
Oh yeah, we have somebody
on staff that does that.
Yep, not on Black Rose staff, but on the Regent Theater staff. So I rent the theater and I make sure I have these guys. The lighting guy, Colin, is amazing, and Dale are just amazing people. And the theater manager, Kevin, like I said, he's like a godsend to Black Rose Entertainment, because we work great together.
That's important too.
Yep.
I think that's why my producer and I wanted to get you on Legends and Heroes, because you're somewhat of a legend and a hero in this community.
Well,
yeah, you by doing this, you've drawn a lot of people downtown.
Yeah.
Before and after a show, and that just brings money in. The money's right here in your community.
Yep.
And that's the most important thing.
And another aspect we have with Black Rose Entertainment is, I'll look at a show and I'll say, you know what, we could use this for fundraising, and we'll do a ticket for $35. And out of that $35, we'll take $2 and we'll give it to a charity. Example, the first band we brought in here was called Mudmen.
It's called which?
The Mudmen.
Okay.
You've seen them on Hockey Night in Canada and everything. Right. The two boys with the kilts and the bagpipes, and that was our first show that we did at the Regent Theater. It was amazing, top. So what we did with that show, to for our first show, we did a $2 donation out of every ticket sold would go to the military family fund. So I believe that show we raised like $700 and some odd for the military family fund. And There's other shows we've done. Mudman, we always changed along the lines. We did the Poppy Fun. I think the show raised about 800. Black Rose topped it up to 1,000, and so we're involved in a lot of charities in the community.
And if someone would like to do a benefit, some charitable organization, do you do things like that?
We do that. We've done it in the past. We've helped quite a few. We book bands for their events or anything like that to go try to get the best price, because you don't want to get a band in that costs a lot of money, because it takes away from the money that's being raised. So yes, but in all means they can contact. They can either send an email to scott@blackroseentertainment.ca or info@blackroseentertainment.ca. Either way, I get all the messages, I read them, and I do contact, usually get back to them within 24 hours. I actually had a call this morning about someone that was looking for doing a fundraiser in August. He didn't say exactly what the fundraiser was for, but I've got to follow up with him in the phone call today. It was actually on the way to the show.
Book your next fundraising event with Black Rose Entertainment.
That night you did for Ronnie Hawkins, there's probably got to be others you'd like to do a night like that with. Will that happen again, or are you thinking about that type of thing? Does it?
For other artists, yeah. For other artists, we could come along with those things. I went back to Ronnie, but Ronnie said he wanted to do more singing, and then he said his voice wasn't up to it, so he basically retired from the stage right now. But there is other artists, like it's called an intimate evening with.
Yeah, I like it. Yes.
We've had Dan Hill, an intimate evening with Dan Hill. Great show, amazing show. Intimate evening with Ian Thomas, again, another amazing show. I have one coming up it's actually June 19th, which happens to be me and my wife's anniversary. That'll be 40 years for us. And Miles Goodwin. Miles Goodwin's going to be here. Miles Goodwin from April Wine. He will be here with his trio, and it'll be like he's going to talk about all the songs and how they were created and different things like that. But it's not going to be a sit down.
He's a Montreal kid, I think.
Miles is Montreal still. Yeah.
It's not going to be a sit down?
Won't be a sit down. This will be sit down audience, but he'll be playing music from everything that he's created, from his blues stuff that he's created to some of the April Wine songs and different things along those lines. It will be a great evening, obviously. It's Miles Goodwin.
Absolutely. He's a Canadian legend and an icon. Are there other tribute groups you're working on you'd like to get in here? Can you give us a little bit of a preview of some of that? Or?
There's so many. One that I'm working on for January to start off next year is actually, there's a local boys from Uxbridge and around the area, Whitby and Oshawa, and what they put together is called, it's a tribute to the Last Waltz, which is the band. They're coming in here. We have that booked, actually. I just finished booking them about 2 weeks ago, for January next year, January 2023. I believe it's January 23rd or 21st, somewhere around there. But it's a tribute to the band. And it's called, The Last Waltz Again, right? Because the band is coming up to their 50th anniversary of when they put that album.
I remember them from the Cockdoor days.
Yep.
Now I'm dating myself, folks, but we're talking about the 60s when a lot of these guys in the band were back up to Ronnie Hawkins' band.
Well, Ronnie Hawkins was actually with the band.
Yes.
During the televised version, he was in the...
Because they did the whole circuit there.
The documentary. When they did the documentary,
Out west, out east, he had... the brass rail in London, and then they went out to Montreal and Edmonton. The band, great group. I want to talk about some of the local talent, because Oshawa, or the Durham region,
well, you know what?
A lot of great talent.
What you find out is, in a lot of the bands that actually come up, the tribute bands, like Jersey Knights, Pauly Shore and the Goodfellas, we have Reese Brunel. He's from Durham region, and he sings in the band. There's a couple other ones that are from Oshawa and Ajax, and they play in the band. So, I mean, if you look at one artist, yes. If you look at a group of artists, there's more that are coming in that are within this area.
Like Jamie Shear.
Jamie Shear,
yeah,
again.
he plays with a good friend of mine.
Jamie Shear. So there's a lot. When I had Valdy in, because Valdy's a one-person act, one-person show, and he's been around forever, right? So what I usually ask him, do you mind if we bring another artist from the community out to play? And he's absolutely. So we always bring somebody out to play with them. Don't ask me all their names, because
I'll be waiting for my turn, folks. I'll do a tribute to the just a tribute to the 50s and 60s, maybe one night out here. But I mean, that's just dreams do come true. But to perform on this stage and this theater is a dream for a lot of people out here, and you've made that dream come true. So, Scott Templeton, you are a legend in your own mind. No, you are a legend. You are a legend out here. People know you. You're well respected, and you're also a hero because you brought this to Oshawa, to Durham, and I got to tell you, folks, whenever these tribute acts come here to play, they're as good as the original acts. Believe me, they are, or they wouldn't be on stage here.
No, absolutely not.
And people fill these seats, and then they get out into the downtown area, and you're one of the people contributing to building this downtown area back up.
Well, we try. Our company's just not promoting. We're into, aside from Black Rose Entertainment, we also do a lot of fundraising for other charities. During the pandemic, we were with a member of Caremongers Whippy, where what we did was, when seniors couldn't get out of their homes and they were in lockdown, we would actually go and we'd have soup from another company called Fantastic. So they would have all these soups made and dinners made and everything. We would deliver it to their home, and it would be all a front porch delivery, knock on the door, leave, and they'd pick up their dinner and soup. Trust me, the faces, or the smiles on these faces when that was done during the pandemic, it just made it worth 100% doing it all. We've done food drives. I believe we've done 5 or 6. You were by for the last
Absolutely,
one.
yes.
And I believe we did 52 loads to the churches and the Salvation Army.
Wow.
So
it's beautiful.
That's within Whippy, a lone stretch from Brooklyn all the way down. So we were getting involved in that. It was busy.
I think we're living in an age of ageism, and the most forgotten are the elderly, and these people still have a lot to give, and they're living, and they want to be.
Yep.
They enjoy entertainment just like anybody else. I do some of the homes and the residents, the senior citizen residents, and when I sing and do the crooner stuff, especially Sinatra or Vic Damone or Marvin Gaye or someone like that, they just get. I love doing it because they're very receptive to it. They just enjoy it.
Yeah, people. If you take a look at people right now, when you're looking at all the shows that are coming up here, we have, like I said, we're going right till. Well, we go to June 25th. July and August, we kind of take that to ourselves, and unless somebody wants us to get involved in a festival or along those lines, we'll do it. But we try to book ourselves crazy between September and all the way to June. So, and that's how Black Rose rolls. And but I mean, at the end of this year, we have Hotel California, another great tribute band. I mean, we have an Eagles tribute, right?
Wow.
And
I've got to see that one, folks.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one.
I've got to see that one, because one thing I've always regretted is I never got a chance to see the Eagles. Never got a chance to see Elvis. I've seen them all. I've seen all the great Motown acts.
Oh yeah.
And other great singers, but among my favorites has always been the Eagles. I think it's one of the greatest,
it is.
the greatest
Amazing.
bands of all time. They have it all.
They are
not
amazing.
just musicians, but their harmonies are sweet.
And we have, I mean, I believe it's December 8th. We have Matt Dusk. Matt Dusk is Canadian. He's a crooner. Sells out amazing down in the States. He just following audience in the States, China, Norway, you name it. Everybody follows him. He comes back to Canada.
Well. Yeah, absolutely.
People still know him, but even he says it. He goes, it's funny because he gets to experience the larger crowds away, and then here he gets the intimate crowds. So.
Well, you know, sometimes, as they say, sometimes a prophet is without honor in his own country, and yet
you're right.
They go overseas and it's extremely popular.
You're right. There's so many things. There's so many things that we do. I didn't want to touch on, but there's other things that I'm involved in the community. One is school board trustee for Durham Region, Whitby School Board trustee. So again, that's keeping me busy, with students and keeping our schools safe, especially over the last 4 years. It's been a weird ride, I'll tell you that much. It wasn't anything what I expected as a school board trustee, but man, do you learn quick. You learn so quick.
Absolutely. But you got to have the passion for it. You just don't go into there. Obviously, you care, or you wouldn't be doing it.
I've been involved with my kids, my children, all the way from my eldest daughter, she's 39 this year. Her public school, when she was there, I was on the SCC, student community council, and so they move it along all the way along, parent involvement committees and all these other ones. But every one of my children's school that they were on, I was involved in the SCC, fundraising, doing different things at the school with them to, whatever they could do, we did. All right. And I think.
One thing I noticed too, talking about young people, when I was working for CFRB, I used to cover some of the acts at Casino Rama.
Yep.
Smokey Robinson, Lionel Richie, some of those other acts up there. And the crowd wasn't always just adults. Young adults. There were a lot of young adults there who were really into that 50s, 60s, 70s music. And I was amazed at some of them. They're well-rounded with their music, and I think that's what you bring here.
One of the big ones, the Beatles, everybody would think the Beatles is like the older generation. No, it ranges from age 13 all the way up. You'd see a mix.
That's the truth.
You see a mixture in the crowd. People appreciate the music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, because in my own opinion, the song actually tells a story. Okay, if you get some of the songs that are nowadays, it doesn't tell a story, not as much, but it's a different story. You can hear it. You have to hear it.
And I think the young people back then appreciated good voices.
Yeah.
They knew a voice.
And
it wasn't manipulated.
No, absolutely.
There were so many great voices back in the day. Gary Puckett.
Yep.
When you think of Jay Black, Gary Puckett, Tom Jones, the list, Johnny Mathis, and all these, Sinatra. These guys could sing. Frankie Valli.
Yep.
They're just great singers. Marvin Gaye. They were Sam Cooke. They were all Jackie Wilson. They were just all great singers back then. Etta James and Streisand.
Oh yeah.
We grew up around voices, so we knew them. You couldn't con. I know growing up in the Windsor, Detroit area, we were exposed to all those great voices. And the Fox Theater, which I said reminds me a bit of this a little smaller, but you got to see them great acts, and now you're going to see great tribute acts. Anything else you want to add to this, Scott?
Not much, but if you want to follow where we are and follow our acts, you can go to blackroseentertainment.ca. Everything's always listed.
What is that again?
blackroseentertainment.ca.
Folks, that's where you go, and you can see all the upcoming acts and book your right through there.
Yeah, on the website we have everything. We have pictures of all the old shows, the shows that we had that have been passed and everything else. So Yeah, just if you take a look at Black Rose Entertainment, you won't see anything for 2023 yet, but I do have 16 more dates already booked here. So,
wow. So, Scott, I want to commend you, first of all, for bringing these great tribute acts to Durham, number one, and number two, for your compassion and the way you work with young people through being a trustee, because that has always been my passion, is to inspire young people to stay in school and pursue their dreams through education and the skilled trades. And obviously you feel the same way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the biggest things that I always wanted to push when I got into the education system, and where this is where you start learning a little different, but is to push the trades. I believe the trades, I've always believed the trades are lacking, and there's
absolutely
a great opportunity for people to make a living, for kids to make a living the rest of their lives out of this.
Let me say, because I was the ambassador, there's only been one ambassador, and I was appointed the ambassador of the skilled trades in the early 90s by the Ernie Eves.
Yep.
And I traveled all over the country evangelizing the skilled trades. There's so many of them. And my son is a mechanic. And he started as a small engines mechanic, and now he's a transmission mechanic. And I'll tell you, he makes a good living, folks, and he likes what he's doing. So on a serious note to young people out there, it's
Absolutely.
there.
Oh, it's there for them. It's there for their taking. My son's actually does he does cement work, Parjig, and everything now. So he's found a groove in the trade, and he's going with it. So it's perfect.
That's why he's on my show, folks. Legends and Heroes. Scott Templeton, he is a hero. And if you know anybody out there that you think we should interview because they're a hero in their community, you hear me, bring that camera in. If you've got someone in the community who you feel should be interviewed here on Legends and Heroes because they are contributing to our communities, log on, legendandheroes.com. Leave us a message. Until the next time, I'd like to thank Scott Templeton. I'm Spider Jones. We'll see you next time on Legends and Heroes.
Hi, I'm Ken Wedham. I'm a national fire fit champion and also a world powerlifting champion. If I can hero, you can too. Say thank you to your local community heroes on icanhero.com.